Good day, students. I am Sir Gilbert N. Lahara, your teacher in Music, Arts, PE and Health 9. In today's lesson, we are going to start with the component music. During your grade 7, you learn about the Philippine music, while in grade 8, you learn about the music of Southeast Asian countries. Now in grade 9, we will be focusing on Western music. But before we proceed to our lesson, let me first read our learning objectives. Number 1, explain the performance practice, setting, composition, role of composers. Number 2, describe musical elements of given Western music. Number 3, sing selection of Western music with correct pitch, harmony, and rhythm. And now we're going to discuss about the music of the medieval period. Since our topic is about the music of the medieval period, the question is, what is medieval? The word medieval is derived from the Latin word medius, meaning middle. The medieval period in Western history is also known as the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages. It was a period in the history of Western civilization when civilization broke down in various ways and became quite primitive. Medieval period of Western history lasted from about 476 AD to 1400 AD. Different sources vary as to the exact dates. Medieval period is one of the three broad periods of Western history. It includes also the classic, medieval, modern. During the medieval period, there is a founding of different universities. Also, the building of cathedrals and castles. As you can see on the screen, that is the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, France, which was built on 1163 to 1345 AD. And that is an example of a cathedral that is built during the medieval period. The music of the medieval period is said to be monody. Monody or monophonic music, meaning one sound. Single line melodies with no accompaniment, known as chant, plain chant, or plain song. Also, medieval period used as music for the early Christian church. It is sung by monks practicing the divine office 8 times a day at the specific hours. The examples of musical instruments used in the medieval period are the flutes, lyre, lute, mandor, guitar, and zither. And as you can see on the given picture, those are instruments that is considered as string instruments. The music of the medieval period is just like the other kind of music. It expresses the feelings that were difficult to put into words and words that remain unspoken. During the medieval period, they have what we call Gregorian chant. What is a Gregorian chant? Gregorian chant is an official music of the Roman Catholic Church. Of course, it is usually used during a Catholic or religious event. Named after Pope Gregory I. Gregorian chant is also named as plain song or plain chant. It's set to sacred Latin text, as you can see on the given picture. It is monophonic. It does not have harmony nor counterpoint. That's why it is considered as monophonic. Gregorian chant is sung without any accompaniment. That is why it is considered as a plain chant or a plain song. Male voices sing in unison. Originally, it was a chant passed along by oral tradition, but later on, they were not dictated. They used the neume notation. The Gregorian neume is written in a 4-line staff. A method called centonization is also used to create families of related chants. These chants can be sung using 6-note pattern called hexachords. Neumes. I already mentioned earlier the neumes. Neumes are early form of music notation from which the modern 4-line and 5-line stuff developed. Multi or several voice elaborations of Gregorian chant, known traditionally as organum, is sung by choirs of men and boys. We also have the troubadours. It came from the word trobar, meaning to compose, to discuss, or to find. Troubadours performed chivalry or courtly romantic music. They played for both commoners and nobility. Next is the troubadours. They are composers or performers. Their counterparts in Germany were called minnesingers. Their songs are about love, crusades, dance songs, and spinning songs. One of the famous composers during the medieval period is Adam de la Hale. Adam de la Hale was a French troubadour, poet, and composer and a musician, a history maker in the world of music during the medieval period. He was a self-proclaimed genius, often describing himself as maestre or master because of his completion of some advanced studies. Adam de la Hale had also explored and mastered his expertise in monophonic composition and its more complex form called motet. He is an accomplished composer of rondeaux, two-part refrains, chansons, motets or polyphonic choral compositions, and jeux parties, dialogues between two parties. Aside from the famous compositions that we mentioned earlier, Adam de la Hale also composed one of the oldest secular music theater pieces known in the West as Le Jeu de Robin et de Marion.
Robins my mare, Robins ma, Robins ma de mandie si mara, Robins ma catacotele, descarlate bonnet belle, Sucani et shine to riva, Robins my mare, Robins ma, Robins ma demandie si mara. Robins my mare, Robins ma, Robins ma demandie si mara, Robins ma catacotele, descarlate bonnet belle, sucani et shainurari viva, Robins my mare, Robins ma, Robins ma demandie si mara.
And now, we are going to proceed to another period in Western music, which is the Renaissance period. The term Renaissance comes from the word renaître, which means rebirth, revival, and rediscovery. It is also called Rinascimento in Italian. The Renaissance period is a period of looking back to the golden age of Greece and Rome. The invention of printing in the 1400s paved the way for the wide distribution of Renaissance composition. With the emergence of the bourgeois class, Renaissance music became popular as entertainment and activity for amateurs and the educated. Lute was the prominent instrument of the Renaissance era, so lute is also considered as a string instrument. The influence of the Roman Catholic Church started to decline as the new music genre arose. Though sacred music was still of great importance, secular music became more prominent in the Renaissance period. So when we say secular music, those are kinds of music which is far from religious music or not related to religion. This era was also known as the Golden Age of a cappella, or Italian term for chapel, choral music. Let us now discuss the characteristic of Renaissance music. So mostly Renaissance music are polyphonic. When we say polyphonic, that means it uses a 5-tone scale. Imitation among the voices is common. Use of word painting in text and music. Melodic lines move in a flowing manner. Melodies are easier to perform because these move along a scale with a few large notes. Let us review the musical elements. Number 1, we have the harmony. Harmony is a simultaneous occurrence of musical tones, whether consonant or dissonant. It refers to the vertical structure of music, while melody pertains to the horizontal elements of music. So harmony and melody is somehow related to each other. The second element of music is rhythm. It may be broadly defined as the combination of long or short duration of musical sounds. The third one is melody. Melody pertains to the horizontal element of music. It is the pleasing succession of tones forming a line of individual significance and expressive value. It is also known as the tune, voice, or line, or music. Number 4, we have dynamics. Dynamics refers to the words or signs indicating degrees or changes in the loudness and softness of a musical sound or passage. So when you say dynamics, the loudness and softness of a musical sound or passage. Next, we have the tempo, or time, the rate of speed of a composition or section as indicated by tempo marks or by metronome indications. So when we say tempo, it is how the song or the music is too fast or too low. In Renaissance music, they have what we call Mass. Mass is one of the most important and sacred forms of music during the Renaissance period. Mass music was said to be polyphonic and sang without musical instruments. So when we say polyphonic, it is a 5-tone scale. And according to this one, it is sung without musical instruments. So therefore, it is sung by a cappella. It is used to communicate spiritual truth to one's mind. Aside from Mass, they also have the madrigal. A madrigal is a piece of several voices set to a short poem. Usually, it's all about love. The composer of a madrigal tries to express the feelings enclosed in each line, and sometimes even that of the individual words of a well-known poem. So that is an example of a madrigal, as you can see on the given picture. So now, we're going to proceed to the well-known Renaissance composers. In medieval period, they have Adam de la Hale. So who are the Renaissance composers? Let's find out. The first Renaissance composer is Giovanni Pierluigi de Palestrina, who is from Rome. He was born in 1525 and died on February 2, 1594. Giovanni Pierluigi de Palestrina is said to be the greatest master of Roman Catholic Church music during the Renaissance period. Majority of his compositions are sacred music, or what we call religious music. His career reflects his commitment to the music of the church. He received his early training and spent the majority of his career in various churches in Rome, including the Pope's Chapel. He was an organist and choir master at both the Sistine Chapel and at St. Peter's, which may have influenced his distinctively pure and restrained style in musical compositions. The next composer we have Thomas Morley. He was born in 1557 and died in 1602. Morley was born in Norwich, East England, the son of a brewer. He was a singer in the local cathedral from his boyhood, and he became master of choristers there in 1583. Thomas Morley was the most famous composer of secular music in his time. He received his bachelor's degree in Oxford and became an organist at St. Paul's in London. So the difference between Thomas Morley and Giovanni Pierluigi di Palestrina. Thomas Morley is more focused on secular music, while Giovanni di Palestrina is more focused on sacred music. So when we say sacred music, those are music or those are kinds of music which is related to religion or to church. While secular music naman are those music which are not related to religion or far from the religion. Morley's work includes Fire, Fire, My Heart, Sing and Chant It, Fantasy, April is in My Mistress' Face, and It Was a Lover and His Last. So here is the example of Morley's composition. Next, we will proceed to the next period, which is the Baroque period. What is a Baroque music? Let's find out. Baroque came from the Portuguese word barroco, or oddly shaped bird. The term Baroque has been extensively used since the 19th century to portray the episode in the Western European music from about 1600 to 1750. The music of Baroque period was just as extreme as the new changes. Many of the illustrious personalities from the early part of the Baroque period, such as Antonio Vivaldi and Claudio Monteverdi, came from Italy. Later, composers from Germany like Johann Sebastian Bach and George Frederick Handel began to take center stage in Baroque music composition. The various styles of Baroque period came together and were brought to perfection in the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. He wrote the Christmas Oratorio. This highlighted the story of Christ's crucifixion.
ein zu sehen, wie in dem Menschen Leid bewegt.
Now we will discuss about George Friedrich Handel, which is one of the composers in Baroque period. He was born on February 23, 1685 in Halle, Germany. Composed church, secular, and theater music for illustrious patrons in Florence, Rome, Naples, and Venice. Accepted in 1791 as Kapellmeister to the Elector of the Hanover. His opera entitled Rinaldo premiered in 1711 in London. He became the music director of the newly founded Royal Academy of Music in 1719. So that is how George Frederick Handel became famous during his time. That's the end of our discussion. I hope you've learned from it. Thank you very much and God bless you all.